a darn Fox shirt in like probably like 10 years.
What? What do you think, buddy?
You know what? I actually borrowed my brother-in-law's hoodie from back home. Like he left like a bunch of his old clothes, and it's probably from like high school. His Fox hoodie. Um, well, are they just motocross? Is that what Fox is known for? Is this
Dad, I thought they did skateboarding too. I could be wrong. Like skateboarding apparel.
maybe? Yeah, remember those good old days when you wore those like people wear those like big ass like etnies. They look like they're like boats. Like pretty much the shoes are like huge.
Did those shoes have the wheels in them?
No, you're thinking of Heelys.
Heelys,
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Heelys are. I mean, there's still a bunch of kids like starting to wear them now. Like I don't know if they're made by Heelys, but they're probably like some form of version type deal situation.
Yeah.
Must
Yeah.
have. As a kid though, you need the best out of your transportation no matter what, because you need to get somewhere fast and you want to hang out, you want to play with your friends.
Yeah, that's true. I used to use a longboard everywhere. I'd like longboard into town and stuff like that, and bike too, of course. But
yeah, that's like one thing I never did. I used to skate. Yeah. Skate and biking would be probably my mode of transportation. I used to go to like the skate park. No, like skateboard.
Like a skateboard. Okay.
Yeah, I used to go to the skate park all the time.
They're so much slower because like the wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised I never got into longboarding.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just easier to get I don't know. Maybe in the Midwest it's just easier to get a skateboard because like I don't remember them ever being so big. Like I think like maybe in high school or in like college was the first time I actually saw one of my friends use a longboard. So I don't know if they were just not popular.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, but like the first time I rode a longboard was downtown Chicago. And there was like a sidewalk that was like pretty slippery, dude. I fell right on my ass. And thankfully my buddy's longboard didn't go in the street. That was when I was in college. He brought his like longboard because you'd go to Union Station and then UIC. You could walk to UIC or longboard. You could even take like the CTA. But when it was nice out, you'd probably want a longboard and enjoy the fresh air instead of going in the blue line, anyways. Because who would want to go in the blue line? But yeah, we would, I was walking with him and I was like, oh, let me try it. And like, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was my shoes or the sidewalk, but I just slipped right on my butt. And thankfully, like the longboard went right into like the concrete and like got stopped by like the building instead of like going left into like a parked car or the street and then it get ran over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my only experience. Yeah, like I said, I skated my whole life. Also, I'm a lefty when it comes to skating. So like I push off my left foot, right? Isn't that mean I'm a lefty? Or do you push off your right when you're skating?
I push off with my right. I think that's regular, and I think if you push off your left, then that's goofy.
Yeah, so I pushed off my left. I don't know, dude. My
oh really?
Yeah, my golf swing, my bat swing. Like yeah, see. What? Yeah, I'd be like that. My right foot would lead, pretty much.
Nice. Okay. Your left foot would lead?
No, my right foot would lead. So my left foot, my right foot would be in the front when I was skating, and then so I would go on my left. I think it's because like my two oldest brothers were lefties, so for some reason I got like all of like I swing lefty, I bat lefty,
Oh, what?
Yeah, and then but all my strong arm stuff is with my right hand. So I don't know. I never I shoot a basketball with my right. You've seen that, so it's like it's so weird. It's like I've been a righty my whole life, but I think it's because of my two oldest brothers. Bless you. And they taught me how to play like a bunch of sports. So like when I used to play baseball or like football or football, baseball and like golf, I probably or like hockey, because we used to play a lot of hockey growing up. Like my oldest brother and my older brothers would have a lefty stick. So like we would play a lot of street hockey growing up, but so since they had like some hockey sticks, they're not like the plastic ones, they have the wooden ones, and you're forced to play lefty. So like I don't know if that's it, because like I pretty much gravitated to like what my older brothers played. But like I said, every time it came to like throwing, writing, or just like feeling the strongest on my right side. And also too, and I'm pretty sure when I deadlift, I keep my right hand supinated instead of pronated. So I feel also like a lot of righties pronate their right hand and then supinate their left hand, right?
Yeah.
For mixed grip.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Do you when you mix grip, what do you supinate with?
I think I do the same thing. Right up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I swear when I worked out with like some of my friends that they said they're righties, or they claim to be righties. Those who claim to be righties, so when they did mixed grip, they would do pronated right hand and then supinated left hand. So I always thought, like, I always even deadlifted, like I was like switched all the way around, which is like I never really put two and two together. It just always felt better when my right hand supinated. Like I feel like I can grip the bar really well, and like I never lose control. But also I never really lose control of a deadlift, anyways. Even at my heaviest, as I say, like I couldn't tell you the last time when I actually like felt like my grip was giving out. I don't think I ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, buddy. You have insane grip strength.
The only thing that gives out, like I said, is like probably like my lower back or my legs first. Like if I know it's too, like if it feels way too heavy, it's probably not my grip strength. It's not like anything I can't handle. It's my body not being able to lift it, which might be a good thing, because that probably means that I could preserve myself from injury.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I mean, deadlifts, let's just say this, the start of this video, deadlifts are the only things that make your back bigger.
I was actually thinking about that.
Plain and simple.
I was like, my back has grown like quite a bit, and like I almost don't do deadlifts anymore. I still do straight leg deadlifts and like RDLs and like dumbbell RDLs and stuff like that, but I don't really do heavy deadlifts. I'm
surprised you do all that stuff still.
Yeah.
Because you're more like in I would say a hypertrophy phase. And like I don't even do, honestly, because of the weight and like the repetitions I do on deadlifts, like I don't really mess around with hip hinge movements as much as I used to. Yeah, I feel, I don't know. I just like overall, like without the beltless work, or without a belt training, I feel like it's just been overall better on my lower back and like my core and everything else. Like I don't feel as sore. And then I've been hammering out a lot of like hamstring curls and leg extensions, more or less, than doing like RDL or single leg RDL. Yeah. So I'm surprised you even do that. You probably do more of that stuff, the hip hinge, like hamstring stuff, more than I do, which is pretty interesting.
I try to do like I'll alternate my sessions. So, and I've been really bad with lower recently, like only doing one a week.
Oh, so no.
Why? Probably because of a volume thing. I probably just need to taper the volume down, to be honest with you. But it's not even high. It's like 2 sets of squats, 2 sets of leg press, 2 sets of leg extensions.
But you know what's crazy? Being natty and like lifting for a long time, I think it's okay to say like, you have enough volume sometimes. Because like, if you look at like, what's his name? 3DMJ Godfather. Why do I always forget his name?
Jeff Alberts?
Yes, Jeff Alberts. If you look at like his training, and yes, don't get me wrong, the guy has built pretty much his musculature to 95% of probably what his genetics allow him to. So
yeah, maybe even higher.
Yeah, or even higher, because if you look at his physique, it's like ridiculous when he's competing. But like, I mean, even if you look at his sessions, like you could just tell, like you like more and more, like you don't really necessarily need more volume. And also, like if you feel like your repetitions are like fine, or if you need to taper down, I felt like that's just been better overall. With like mood, with recovery, with excitement, with like overall energy throughout the day. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, why not just taper it down? Well, that's what I was telling him. Like, my mom's like doing physical therapy for, I think it's her lower back and hamstrings pretty much. And she was doing it like 3 times a day. And she felt like she pretty much, what the symptoms were, it was like, it felt like she was overdoing it pretty much. Like, if you like like rehab or overstretch, and I told her as simple as this. I was like, hey, maybe cut one of the sessions out and maybe do like 3/4 or half of what you were doing. And then every day maybe do a little bit more and then build it up. Maybe give it a couple of weeks and then you probably should be fine. It's kind of like that. It's like, how do you because you don't want to reach over training. Like right now, this week I'm deloading, so it always feels like it's heaven in deloading because it's like, man, hack squats. I'm going to do like 6 reps with like 110 pounds. Oh, that's fine. Like I do every set. I'm like, man, this feels nice.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But yeah, episode, I think this is 86. Could be 85. I'm losing track, but what my first statement was about is back strength and how to like grow the lats. So like this episode will kind of be tailored to that. As jokingly as I was, I still think deadlifts does grow a big back. If you look at like anyone who has a big deadlift, just look at how big their back is.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Kevin Oak, look at Ed Cohn.
Ben Pollock is like the most relevant one now. PhD deadlift on Instagram. That guy is an absurd bodybuilder.
Oh, also Dan Green. Yep. I mean Dan Green could sumo deadlift like 800 for like reps. Look at Chris Duffin. Chris Duffin could deadlift 800 for a couple reps. I'm kind of worried about Chris Duffin too, by the way. Side note.
Oh really?
His belly is getting really fucking big. Like I don't know if it's musculature. Like he just has like ridiculous core strength because he does like a bunch of beltless training and he and just lifted heavy weights over the years. But like, dude, every time I see him in a training video, like he did if you guys haven't checked it out, Chris Duffin actually did Mike Israetel workout in Las Vegas the other day. Did you see that video, Roman?
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. And like I don't know, just like his like it's crazy his like his belly, like it's just so round. I don't know if he's ever taken like GH for anything or like for muscles or recovery, but I don't know. They always say like the GH gut. So I don't know if that plays a part, but like Ben Pollock, I don't really think he's got like an oversized belly, right? It's just just huge, right?
People would probably say he's got a blocky waist from like a bodybuilding standpoint, but he's a power lifter that does bodybuilding is the best way to describe that. And he's just like his lats and his upper back are just so massive that like he creates that like X-ray no matter what, no matter how big his waist is. But yeah, it could just be distension from like a meal for Chris Duffin too. Like he could have had like a high fiber meal or something. It's hard to say. Yeah.
Also too, like I told Roman, yesterday? I think it was yesterday I talked to you on the phone. Like I told Roman too, what's nice about like this episode of the like back strength and how to like maintain back strength and also grow your lats. Roman and I were talking about like how we're like, overweight for like what we are conditioned for, like pretty much like, we're carrying a little bit of body fat. But if you check like the Instagram for Gains podcast, I gave Roman the compliment. His back is looking great. It's looking huge. And as you can tell, when you put a little weight on, for some reason your back doesn't ever look like it's out of shape. So I was giving him the compliment because both of us are like not like the most in shape right now, but like to see Roman in that video and like be like, damn, like you could see the rear delts, you could see like the traps, you could see the lower lats, like you could see like everything in between. And Roman's not even like, what would you say? Like you're closer to 20% body fat than 10%?
Yeah.
So so like if Roman was like sub 10%, like you could just picture how crispy the back would look, and maybe a little spray tan just to so it's not so white back there.
I know. I worked on it this weekend. I got crispy
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah, you actually look fine now. Your face is still a little red, but like it looks like your arms aren't bad anymore. Yeah, you looks like you got a little tanner. But Roman, what would you say to start this off? Like, we'll talk about like growing the lats. Like, what's like the best, like some of your best tips, like your favorite tips, maybe even your favorite exercises. Like, what do you want to start off with, buddy? And then we can kind of run it from there.
Yeah, I'll jump off the deadlift comment. So I'd say for like beginners, deadlifting is like super duper important from like an overall like strength and like athletic standpoint. So it doesn't matter if your goal is strength, hypertrophy, or athleticism. So like let's say like uh, endurance. I think honestly, deadlift could and is an extremely valuable tool for all those things. But I think once you get out of like the beginner to early intermediate stages, that's when you kind of need to decide like
Yeah.
how much does this fit into my like my training or like my programming or the style of lifting that I enjoy. If you want to do powerlifting, you absolutely have to deadlift. You don't always have to do conventional. You can switch to sumo. You can do trap bar deadlift for a while. You know, you can totally mix it up. But if you're a powerlifter, you have to deadlift. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You could go on like a little maintenance block so you could fix or like build up your squat or your bench, something like that. Totally reasonable.
I mean, the only thing is with powerlifting, do they do like, as I say, I know they do like push pull like competitions, but I don't think I ever seen like a bench squat only meet. I'm pretty sure it's like usually like deadlift and bench only, like where you don't have to squat. Like I know there's some meets like that, but
Yeah.
typically I think the deadlift is pretty much in all the meets. I mean, maybe you could sign up for a meet where it's like squat only or bench only, but is that really powerlifting at that point? Maybe you're like CT Fletcher and you always just wanted to have a big bench. So I mean, he did like bench only competitions when he's like a big hunk of man back in the day, pretty much. But like he did bench only. So I mean, I guess technically you don't have to deadlift, but if you're going just for like what I think he also was the curling champ, like one of the heaviest strict curl.
They have a strict curl, which is like so funny. Like
Yeah.
Like the guy broke the record recently, so it's like.
You ever watch these old motivational videos? You want some motherfucking 22s. Well, you got to do some bicep training.
I love CT Fletcher. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to send you like OG. It was actually like pretty cool to like listen to like before you're about to hit arms or something. He goes, if you want to get these motherfucking big arms, you gotta lift that motherfucking big weights. Like, you know, like, he goes, you see me? And he's like preacher curling like 50 pounds, like nothing.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
But this is like, before the heart surgeries and all that. So unfortunately, like he's not doing stuff like that right now, but whatever. He hit a lot of good years. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's like so really impressive. And from what I know about him, like that dude's got a big back too. So whatever he did, it definitely contributed to like a highly impressive like muscular back. But okay, so slight digression. So back to the deadlift commentary.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're powerlifting, you have to deadlift. If you're like into bodybuilding and hypertrophy, like just trying to build muscle, I don't necessarily think that if you're past like beginning intermediate stages that you have to deadlift. And this is kind of like where my programming is going. So if you're interested in my journey, kind of like follow it along on like my Instagram and like the Gains Podcast Instagram. But I really haven't deadlifted much since the pandemic started. And I would definitely say that like from a width perspective, so like the lats, the teres major, teres minor, the back is like significantly wider. Like you actually can tell that I have a back from like my front relaxed position, for example. And then from like a density perspective, even like the lats are starting to pop, or the my traps are starting to pop more, like from like behind me. So I contribute that. The way I structure my back training now is I have 2 back sessions a week, and I'll include vertical movements, so usually a lat pull down or a pull up type variation. Might do it on like assisted pull-up machine, might do pull-ups, might do chin-ups, something along those lines, lat pull-downs, single arm, double, and then I'll do some sort of a horizontal pull movement. So at least one movement. Right now, I'm just focusing on one movement, and I'm doing 8 sets for back per session, so 16 sets per week. So I'm just doing like a cable row for 4 sets and a lat pull down for 4 sets, and that's honestly it. And the strength almost consistently goes up week after week, unless I'm like taking a deload or whatnot. So that's really good. I have messed around with like different like hand positions and different like accessories. So if I do that and like I drop the weight, for example, but like increase the weight, I'll just make a note in my phone for like a programming perspective. But I like having both like a horizontal pull as well as like a vertical, or rather horizontal pull and a vertical pull. So in my post last week, the one that Antoine was talking about, I wanted to highlight that like when you have some type of a vertical pull movement, like obviously the lats are going to still be engaged. You can still see them contracting towards the spine. So the lats are attached to something called the thoracolumbar fascia, which attaches to the spine, and they just kind of jut out like this, and they're going to attach to the underside of the humerus, or like this long arm bone here. So what the lats essentially do is they bring the upper portion of the arm in towards the torso, so that they bring it close to the torso. So the way you'll see a lot of people isolate their lats to build this like this thickness here is they'll do a lot of type of like rowing movements, barbell row, dumbbell row, chest supported row, cable row, you name it. And then when it comes to like building the upper back musculature, so that's the rhomboids, that's the traps, that's the infraspinatus, supraspinatus, the teres major, teres minor, the rear delts, then you'll see a lot of vertical pulling movements. So once again, the lat pull down, like 2 arm, 1 arm, you'll get pull-ups, you'll get chin-ups, you'll get the assisted pull-up machine, etc. So a lot of different variants there. So that's like vaguely how I like to like think about it. So when I'm doing a horizontal pull movement, mostly isolating the lats and the lower back musculature, not necessarily like the low back, if you will, like the bicycle seat if you're like super lean, but pretty much like the lats and other like supporting musculature. And then when I'm doing some sort of like an up down movement or a vertical pull movement, that's when I like to think that I'm isolating the upper back musculature.
Yeah. So 2 things. Roman mentioned he does about like 16 sets. You know, if you're a beginner, you'd probably want to start off with 5 or so sets, you know, each week, 5 sets in a week with your back. Also, depending on how you're going to separate everything, you know, maybe you could do like, you know, depending on your genetics, maybe you do like 3 that, you know, dedicates to the vertical, 2 dedicated to the horizontal, and then kind of grow from there. If you're a seasoned lifter, I'd say the minimum would probably be 10 or so minimum sets a week, you'd say. And then like if you're advanced, I'd say anything over 13, depending on how you respond. But you're also going to find that out on your own. It could change. And I'm giving you like a guesstimate because like, you know, a beginner could do 5 sets, and like if they're genetically strong in the back, you know, why go to 10 sets when you're getting like the most out of like 5 sets? So as we always preach, do the minimum as possible and get away with that first instead of the maximum. And then you overtrain, exhaust yourself, you know, fatigue, and then you don't grow any muscle at all. And then the second thing is, have you been following Candido's weighted pull-ups?
Yeah, I love it. It's cool.
if you guys haven't checked out Johnny Candido, check him out on YouTube. He's an OG to like YouTube fitness, and right now it's one of his goals is like weighted pull-ups. And he goes over like a bunch of like YouTube fitness people that do weighted pull-ups, and it's pretty cool on like the progress and like how much even just a pull-up can grow your back in general. And you know, we're talking with just like one of those like the chain belts where you just kind of tie the barbell or dumbbell to the weighted belt, and then you just pretty much do pull up. I think it's just a standard pull up where you're just pronated. I don't think they're doing chin ups, right? They're just doing regular. Yeah. I think eventually Roman and I should do like a challenge and see who could do like the heaviest. I mean, the only problem is it's just I'm like 200 pounds and Roman's 170. Yeah. So will the lighter person be able to lift more or the heavier person? I don't know. But I think Roman, because my arms, healthier now, I think eventually we should do like a challenge where we should do like a series of who could do like the heaviest weighted pull up, obviously strict where it's all the way down, all the way up, chin past like the bar or whatever the thing you have in like a gym. But we should do that one of these days.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Because I would like to see how much you could grow lats. Because you know what, when Roman and I first like started working more together, and he used to like help me do my programming. He actually always pushed me to do pull-ups. Unfortunately, I don't really do pull-ups anymore as much. I was doing them to do warm-ups. Like Roman suggested, on the assisted pull-up machine, do like something where it's like close to your weight, where it's not hard, but do like 30 to 50 reps before I start doing an upper body session, just to warm up my arm and my lat. Because I was having some problem, like obviously my back part of my shoulder, but Roman always pushed me to do like pull-ups and stuff. So I do want to get back to it, and I think that could grow like our backs a little bit more. Because like Roman, I do probably like what is it? I do like 3, 5, 6 like horizontal sets. I want to say, and then like 8 vertical. So I do a lot of vertical like lat movement, horizontal not too much right now, but because I'm not trying to push it right now. But yeah, also too, with Roman was saying, I know I said 2 things, but the horizontal, like Roman was saying, like the lower back, you can, for like horizontal movements, you can always extend a little bit, like on your upper back, and then obviously try to keep cautious and like keep your back sturdy and your core tight when you're doing that. If you're looking to kind of get reference, Jeff Nippard and what's his name? Jeff Nippard and Eric Helms did a video on like the horizontal lat movement, where one of them were strict and one of them were like pretty much extending on like the eccentric. Eccentric, right? When you're pulling forward.
When the weight is pulling you forward, that's eccentric. If this is horizontal, and then if it's vertical, as
eccentric's going up. Yeah. So when you're going on horizontal, the eccentric, so you can either extend the upper back or keep a stiff back. Also, another example is like Arnold in pumping iron. He was like a big believer of extending his upper back when he did horizontal lat movements. And as you can tell, Arnold was the greatest of all time for like bodybuilding. Speaking of which, Arnold's been getting a bad rap from a lot of people on social media. Roman, have you seen that?
Yeah, screw your freedoms.
Man, only if I was a political person, but I don't really care about politics about everybody. I don't really talk about that stuff too much.
Yeah, it's way overblown. You have to listen to the whole thing. I get it. Like, it was kind of a hot take, but also it's like Arnold can have that view. Like, he was the governor of like a highly liberal state. Like, what else do you expect? Like, yeah, I would just say it's just like, I don't know, the Redcon stuff. I'm just like, come on, man. Honestly, like the first thought that came to my mind was like, is Redcon doing this just to give Kai Green an out so he doesn't participate at the Arnold this year? Because like obviously Kai Green always tries to hype up like getting back into bodybuilding and everything, and then he like teases it out, and then like never does it.
Yeah, he always says he's bigger than Phil Heath, like on Twitter all the time. Colin Von Moger took down like all his posters in his garage gym of Arnold and threw it away.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, maybe we'll do a political episode, and maybe none of you will watch our podcast ever again. I don't know. But yeah, let's just stop there. We could talk a little bit more like another time on how to like maintain. But yeah, growing the lats, getting a big back. Also, having big lats. If you're like physique bodybuilder, that will be very great for physique bodybuilding, to get that V taper, so your back looks like a damn V instead of like a rectangle. You don't want to look like a rectangle in bodybuilding either. That's not a good look unless you're like a powerlifter. Yeah. Unless you're a powerlifter, like kind of like Ben Pollock, you were saying. He's probably, he doesn't really have a tiny waist like you were saying. Like he's got more of the blocky look. So.
But he's still got an impressive back. Like he's still got that. He still has the X frame or the V taper.
Yeah.
But he just like, if I were to guess, he probably has like a 33-inch waist, which is big, which is really big. But like if you were to measure his like lats, it's probably like 44 inches or even bigger. So like he's a big ass dude. But I did want to make one clarifying note before we closed. I think when I started this mesocycle, so this like recent training cycle somewhere like June or whatever I started, I only started with like 10 or 12 sets of back. And I worked up to 16 sets. And I'll probably increase like maybe another set or two. I'll probably get up to like a peak of 18, maximum of 20. I don't really see myself going above 20. Could I probably do it for a short period of time? Yeah, probably, to be honest with you. Seems like my back can tolerate a lot of load. But as much as I do want to bring up my back, I also want to bring up like upper chest and other things. So I didn't start at 16 sets, which like Mike Isertel would probably consider like the MAV for most people, maximum adaptive volume. I started at a much lower amount, and I added a set after a week. I added a set like week 3, so that 12, etc. And I did it that way. So I just want to make that clarifying note.
Yeah, and my focus right now is probably going to be chest, since I haven't been able to lift chest. So everything else can kind of just chillax, and then I'll probably increase sets, because when my shoulder hurt, I didn't do any chest work, and like right now, like even like flat dumbbell press for like 3 sets, 4 sets is getting my chest like sore. So
heck yeah, exactly.
So I'll be back. I'll be back hopefully, and hopefully I'll have a better chest by next year. So. But guys, thank you for tuning in for another one. We're on all audio and video platforms. If we're not on one you want to see, please let us know. Shoot us a message. DM us on Instagram if you want to see any other content. And then leave a like, subscribe on YouTube, and also comment, please. That would help us, and give us some ratings on like Apple Podcasts. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.